Welcome to EduRev.
Yes, what do you know about the seals, the sculptures, and artifacts? Yes, of course, it is implied from the various excavations that we have made there. One thing is very clear that the Harappans are very adept at using and at formulating three-dimensional volumes. A variety of stones has been used. Besides these stones, you also find works which is made out of terracotta, which is made out of stone figurines, copper, bronze, and even gold were used. And the above, it very clearly shows the high standards of craftsmanship, knowledge of metrology, and flourishing trade and commerce which is found here. Now, coming to the seals, one thing you have to know about when it comes to the question aspect of seals, what is the various utility of the seals? Then, what about the significance of the various seals which is found here? So that we are going to study here. Understand, archaeologists have actually found different sizes and shapes of seals all across the excavation sites. Now, most of the seals are in the format of what you find here, which is in the format of a square. But later, it was also found some seals in the form of triangular shape, rectangular shape, and circular seals. They were also found. Mostly steatite. Steatite was the soft stone which is found in the riverbeds. It was the most common material which is used to make the seals. And the seals, yes, it's very evident in the picture. They have pictographic script. They have pictographic script, which means some animal impressions were also carved on the surface of the seals. Not just the animal impressions, you can also find some letters, some pictographic script. So it actually indicates that the knowledge of the wild animals, the knowledge of wild animals has been very well known to the Harappan people. Seals were primarily used for, yes, now coming to the usage point of view, it is primarily used for commercial purposes, as in it can help you to identify a seller. So based upon each and every seal, a seller can identify, you can identify that if this is the seal, then it might have come from A kind of seller. If this is the C, then it is B type of seller. So this kind of identification of the seller is also very much possible. And take a note of this particular point. Some seals with a hole on them have been found on dead bodies. This is what they are talking about here. Some seals with holes on them, it is used as amulets which is carried on the person of the owner, and again it is used for the purpose of identification. And some seals also is used to deliver for, or you can say used to deliver some knowledge related purposes or educational purposes, because some mathematical images have been found on them. Now coming to some of the very prominent seals which is found in IBC. Yes, the most important seals among them is your Shiva Pashupati seal. So this seal, it actually refers to, or it actually indicates a proto Shiva or Pashupati as he is commonly called at that point of time. So this seal depicts a figure which is cross-seated or cross-legged in a yogic posture with a horned headdress. So you can see here there is a horned headdress. Yes, you can see that. We can also see that he is sitting in a cross-legged yogic posture. Now, take a look at this. He is venerated as, or he is considered to be, an early form of God Shiva. And now comes the most important part. Like, I'll erase everything, whatever I've written. And now let me show you the animals which you can find here, because such kind of question, it can or come in your SSC kind of examination or your state public service examinations. So yes, coming to the figurines, it is actually surrounded by a number of animals. For example, you have an elephant and a tiger, and you have a rhinoceros and a buffalo, which is seen on the left side, and there is also two antelopes, which is seated or which is placed below the seat of the figure. And the next important thing that we are going to read is about the unicorn seal. The unicorn seal is simple. There is a depiction of a unicorn, which is a mythical animal, as you all know. And the next seal is about the bull seal. You actually have a humped bull, which is shown in the picture. And again, as I've told you before, all these are indicative of the knowledge of wild animals and hunting. And now coming on to the sculptures. Now, till now we were dealing about seals, now we are dealing about sculptures. The one important technique is the lost wax technique. What do you understand by this? Now understand something. In this technique, first of all, a molten metal is taken. It is poured into a mold. So something like this, you pour a molten metal into a mold which has been created by means of a wax model. Like, what do you understand from this? You initially create a model like this which is out of wax, and the it has been actually clay coated so that it can withstand heat. So when you pour the metal into this kind of a wax model, and then when you heat it, what happens? Because of the clay coating, the metal would be retained within the clay coated figure, but the wax with a small hole in it, it would melt off. It would come outside. The liquid metal is poured inside the hollow mold, and after this wax is then poured out through a tiny hole. And what happens after the metal gets cooled down? You get the solidified clay coat. Yes, because clay doesn't get molten by the heating process. So you get a clay inside which you will be having the solidified metal object which is shaped in the form of the wax model, and you can break off this clay to get that final sculpture. This is the major technique which is used to figure out or make such figures like your dancing girl statue which is found in Mohenjo-daro. So this is a very classic example of art and metrology of this period. 4-inch figure, naked girl. These are some of the important points with only ornaments covering her body. And these ornaments include, take a look at the picture, it includes an amulet and a bracelet on the right arm. So this is a bracelet, whereas this is the amulet. And it also includes the entire left arm. It is being covered with bangles. She is also seen to be wearing a necklace, and her arms, they are seen to be unusually long, and she stands in the Tribanga posture. So what is this Tribanga posture? Understand something. Tribanga is nothing but a very famous posture when you're talking about dancing forms wherein the body bends in an S kind of a shape. It bends in an S kind of a shape. Take a look at her neck, her hip, and her knee. So if you take or link them, it is actually placed in different directions, which actually shows that she is standing in the Tribanga dancing posture. Then coming on to the bearded priest statue, remember it is a stone figurine. It is a stone figurine, and here the figure is actually enclosed in the form of a shawl. He is having a shawl with trefoil patterns. The eyes of the man, it is very much elongated as you can see, and it is half closed as in meditation. And the figure also has an amulet. Yes, the figure has an amulet and a plain woven fillet which is placed across the head. So these are some of the important characteristics. Now try to understand something, the important characteristics of some prominent figures, like for example, your dancing girl, your bearded priest statue, and the next one, like the male torso. These are some things which you have to remember, because only upon writing the important nuances of each and every figure, it will actually fetch you more marks. Coming to the mother goddess figure, here this is actually a terracotta figure. It refers to the use of fire baked clay for making some sculptures. That is what terracotta actually refers to. Compared to the bronze figures, one thing is very, very clear. That is, it is this kind of terracotta model. It is actually very crude in shape and form. It is very crude in shape and form because it lacks finesse. And this mother goddess figure, it is very important because it indicates the religious beliefs of the people of the civilization. That is, both male and female goddesses. Female goddesses have been worshipped in IVC. And if you take a closer look at the picture, then you can understand that every terracotta figurine is made out of using this pinching method. As in, they make the clay, they make the terracotta, they make the clay, and they pinch with their hands to make the entire figure. Coming to the male torso, of course, it is very well evident that this is a red sandstone figure, and there are holes for the neck and for the head and for the arms to be filled out. So which is probably for the future attachment of heads and arms. So this is a red sandstone figurine. And now coming on to pottery. So some things that are very, very important when it comes to say your IVC or your Vedic age, something that is important is you have to understand what kind of pottery has been actually in play during that point of time. For example, in the IVC period, you have both plain pottery and you have painted pottery. Plain pottery is more common than the painted ware. And for this plain pottery, generally red clay has been used. And you also observe certain recurrent themes which is painted across the pottery or which is present as a general theme in the paintings, which is trees, birds, animal figures, and geometrical patterns. And most of the potteries that have been found have been very fine wheel made pottery. Very fine wheel made pottery has been the most predominant one. And the pottery, they were actually used for three main purposes. The first thing is for household purposes, mainly for the storage of grains and water. Second one, you can find certain miniature vessels, which is generally less than half an inch in size and which is mainly used for decorative purposes. And they were so marvelously crafted, even now when you observe it, it will evoke some extraordinariness or some awe in them. So please understand these miniature vessels are not for any household purposes. It is generally for decorative purposes. And some of the pottery, they were also perforated, as in they will have holes in them. And this might have been used for straining liquor. So finally, again, coming to a quick summary, remember this slide is just for your summary kind of a purpose. What is the predominant utility and significance of seals? The first thing is it is for the trade and commerce purpose, sealing the consignment of goods. It places a mark as to placing a mark of sealing on the opening as to it can help you in identification of the seller. So yes, trade and commerce, sealing the consignment. And then this actually gives us a further insight into the social life and the economical life of IVC, because now we can come to the conclusion that they had a flourishing trade and commerce, and the economy is not primary based or primary activity based economy. The symbols on the seals, it indicate the existence of a script, and we can also decipher that there had been a script, though we are not able to decipher what it is. And it also indicates the numerous socio-religious aspects of the civilization. And not just that, you can extend the discussion even further based on our first slide, that from this we can understand that some for educational purposes also the seals was used, and we can also come to the conclusion that it is also used as amulets on dead bodies. Coming to the last question that we have here, miniature vessels were used to store grains of small quantity. Is that the actual reason? Definitely no. They are used for decorative purposes, and some of the potteries they were had some large and small holes, and this is said to be defective pieces. Again, that's absolutely wrong. They had a purpose, which is for straining, probably for straining liquors, but in no way it is considered to be a defective piece. Both plain pottery and wheel-made pottery, they were found during that time, which implies that the answer is B3 only. Yes, we have come to the final slide. Now, after going through this entire series of art and culture, you can understand, you can try to answer many questions of UPSC. Follow our platform where we have discussed over 10,000 plus questions. And we have also got 2,000 plus documents and over 1,000 videos for you to crack the UPSC. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.